So right now, who we have next is we have Meir, who actually works with people with all these different disabilities, especially with eyesight, of how to see more clearly within the 3D realm. So many people, he says, actually see better and deal better for the blockages and emotions that don't let them see more clearly and affect adversely in the relationship. Right. So as we've been talking about through all these other hosts as well, it's what perception is actually occurring. Right. And this is why I love working in the ancestral field too, is because we have all these beings behind us, all the generations back, actually clouding and pushing in to that perception, which we see through our eyes, right? The whole epigenetics of what's happening in the past that's actually affecting and creating the present moment. So I'm so excited to be welcoming Mir on here right now. Let me just find you real quick. Um, and we are going to start seeing him whenever he's ready. I don't know. But he's here. So hopefully he'll be ready in a moment. I don't know. Oh, here he is. Okay. Here you go.
Hello.
Hi, so great to see you.
So great to see you. What a wonderful conference.
Thank you for being here.
So there are a few things that I would like to say. Many people separate between mental principles and physical principles. Uh, and truth of the matter is that mental part of our life has a lot to do with our physical life. For example, many kids lose the clarity of the vision when they're in the third grade. Why? Because they're bored with their studies and they get to the conclusion that studies aren't going to get any better. Many other people lose the clarity of the vision when they go to high school because their hormones are working, they're thinking about a person that they're attracted to, and they think about nothing else, and everything is through a curtain. Other people lose the vision in college, and the mental feeling there is no such good future. So there are many many mental reasons for physical loss. In my case, I was born with cataracts. It's very unusual. Only 1 out of 20,000 infants are ever born with cataracts, which is an opacity of the lens. And I remember it's written in my book, Movement for Self-Healing, because it was such a strong experience I had, that I was once fasting for 9 days on juices. And all of a sudden, as I was doing my exercise, which is called palming, I saw myself as an infant. And I spoke to the infant in my original language, which was Russian, which I didn't speak for a long time. And I was seeing kind of a blockage in front of the infant's head. And I said, why don't you want to see? And the infant answered me in Russian, because I'm afraid that the world will not see what I'm seeing. So I have a feeling that's how I started my life. For those of you who don't know, I was raised as a blind kid to two deaf parents. I was a Braille reader. In fact, I'm proud to say I was the quickest Braille reader of the state of Israel already in 6th grade. And I thought that my life is going to be a life of a blind person. Not completely blind. I had basically 1 to 2% of vision. And then I discovered eye exercises that helped me to build up enough vision with which I can read, write, and drive. It's not normal. I see about 70% of vision, but it's very substantial. And by now, I helped many thousands of people to see better my work extends to much more than the eyes. I help people with paralysis and with back problems and others. So returning to the vision part, people are not aware of how strained the eyes are and what influence it does on our relationship. Simple physical strain. There was never a time in human history when the strain was greater. And the epitome, and in my case, the Gaza war that I was looking at so many YouTube clips, people look so much from near. I would like to suggest to all of you to now open your window. I will open mine. This is, by the way, a bodywork table, a massage table. We call what we do bodywork rather than massage. But anyway, I'm opening right now my window here. I'm looking at the distance, and I would like all of you to do exactly the same. Look at the distance. Look wherever you can. For example, near my school, there is an ocean, but look at the sky and blink. Look at the horizons and blink. And look a little bit closer, and a little bit closer, and a little bit closer. And wave your hands to the side so you'll have good peripheral vision. And breathe deeply and slowly as you do that. Rest your eyes from the couple of hours that you had in front of the computer and look at the distance to rest from what you've done. It is priceless. Now close your eyes and imagine the distance. Imagine that you're looking at a distance and you're relaxing the muscles of your lens. And you breathe deeply and slowly. Too bad we don't have enough time to really go through the whole exercise, but I would like all of you to look at the distance several times a day, and I would like to add an exercise to that, and that is that you take, let me just see, Robbie, can you bring me a masking tape, please? Here it is. So I have a masking tape. All right, so what we need to do often, an obstructive lens. What we do often is, as we look at a distance, it's obstructive lens. Okay, we sometimes can put this paper on, wave our hands to the side, and we put the paper over our strong eye, not over our weak eye, over our strong eye. So the weak eye has option to start and work because the brain, out of stress, basically blocks the weaker eye. And then there's another way we can put glasses, we can put some duct tape and look at the distance with our weaker eye that way. What I want to tell you is that stress can ruin your life and can ruin relationship. You don't even know where it comes from because the stress of the eyes could also belong to memories, traumatic memories that you had with them. But then when life brings more stress, when life is allowing you to, life is allowing you to feel tense and miserable, it could be easily from eye strain. And it's so simple. If your eyes are strained, you feel nervous. And then your interaction, it could be terrible. I remember that once in the time of my blindness, I sat down in a class in the university and I couldn't see anything on the board. And I remember how upset I was, and it caused me to fight with my girlfriend in that time. She left, but then she understood that I was under a lot of stress. So basically, visual stress leads to many, many problems. And that's why we need to work on improving our vision. Now, people think they solve their visual problems by wearing contacts or wearing glasses. None of it is really true. They don't solve anything by doing that. They see better, no question. But the problem is, and they also think they solve it by having a LASIK. Again, they see better in most cases, unless there is complication, and I've met those. But what happens is that the inner problem of emotion doesn't go away. It stays and stays and stays. It's a terrible situation, basically, where we have tension that causes a lot of our problems in the eyes, and the tension doesn't go away just because you see better with equipment, or, for example, LASIK is basically making glasses out of your cornea. And now you have less cornea, and often that holds for 9 years, and then you need to do that surgery again and again, because no prescription holds forever. It needs to be changed. So what I want to say that we need to do is take care of our eyes, just like we take care of our teeth. We go to dental hygienes, we brush our teeth. We have to take care of our eyes and not allow ourselves to get tired with them. By the way, I feel the same way about the body. We have more than 600 muscles, and most people use only 50 to 70 out of them. So you'd see me when I train my classes, that first of all, we all walk backwards. We use muscles we never used before. And so the tension that you have in your muscles has to do with using the same muscles again, again, and again. And the more you do sports, the more you use the same muscles again, again, again. You have to start to use muscles that you have never, ever used before, and let go of the tension of the muscles that you always use, and then integrate between them. So returning to the eyes, I mean, by the way, when you do that, you prevent arthritis, you prevent nerve disease like multiple sclerosis, you even prevent digestive problems, and you definitely prevent back problems. But most people tend to want to fix problems, but not to look at the total picture of using more of the self. So now when we turn into vision, the strain to see is the biggest problem we have with our eyesight. And again, I want to return to what we're doing now. I'm so happy to have you all in this conference, and I'm so happy that you're listening to my lecture and to many other very valuable lectures in here, very valuable. But I'm not happy that you have to look at a computer. That's why the first thing that I've done was asking you all to look at a distance. And we have to always break the tension of looking near to looking far. But there are other things that we do that make our vision worse, and we could actually make it better. For example, often when you look at your computer, you're not aware that there's a ceiling, that there are walls, that there's a floor. You're not aware of your periphery. It affects your mental state by looking at a single issue and not being aware of everything around it. But it also affects very much your vision, because 20% of the people lose their peripheral vision as a result of less blood flow to the optic nerve, high pressure in the eye. But if we would pay attention to our periphery, we wouldn't lose it. And one of the ways to do it is to wave the hands to the side. And another thing that we could do is exactly, we take the same piece of paper, but we have a different approach to it. I put a paper between my eyes, and I wave my hands to the side and look straight at the paper. That way, I relax my eyes from looking centrally all the time. But when we look centrally, we have to learn not to strain to see, but look from detail to detail. When I read Braille and I was taught to see, first I had a magnifying lens that was 38 diopters, when the normal diopters is 2 or 3, and I read from this distance, basically with the lens. And one thing that I've learned is to look at details. I would look at my fingers, it'd be this close, and look at the fingers and space between them. Then I could see the difference between windows and walls. And slowly, slowly, I saw more and more, and I saw windows and air conditioners. By the way, my son and my daughter were born with cataracts as well, but they were operated better than me. I had 5 so unsuccessful surgeries. And at the age of 7, everybody gave up on me. And and I was known as the blind kid of Ida and Abraham in Tel Aviv, in the whole deaf club, because they knew that Ida and Abraham had a blind kid. I was actually a good kid. My mother would take me to meeting with her girlfriends, and I would sit down with my Braille book and read it. And from time to time, my girlfriends would try to interrupt me and give me some sweets, basically. That was in my world, basically. But basically, I would say that one of the things that I did is I learned to look. When I learned Braille, and I would try to look from this distance at the Braille, my teacher said, "Don't look, you can't see anything anyway," and asked me to just feel. Well, until today, I feel a lot. I feel the phone, in fact, the landmine, sometimes when I dial. It's not always a good idea. When I climbed down mountain once in the evening, I was trying to feel my way and fell down. So it doesn't work all the time. But in the past, I felt instead of seeing. That's one of the difficulties I have with legally blind people. I have to start to teach them to look. But with people who see normal vision, with time out of oblivions, we stop looking at details. And by the way, heaven is now. You don't have to wait for it. If you look at waves in the ocean, if you look at boats that sail in the ocean, if you look at the sky and you enjoy it for that moment, regardless of what happens in your life, regardless of crisis, regardless of anything, you look at nature, you become happy just for doing that. If you listen to nice music, you become just happy for that, to a point of laughter and tears at the same time. So the most important thing for us is to acknowledge the moment and look. But here's another way to acknowledge the moment. We have a very small area in the retina. It's called the macula. That has
not hurt, which is
what? Hello? Okay. Robbie, are we okay? Robbie? Okay. We have another way in which we can take a look at looking at the distance and looking at things, and that is that we look from detail to detail. There is a place in the retina which is called the macula. That's actually a spot that so many people lose these days. It becomes inflamed with time, and many people end up losing it. And I've helped quite a few people to gain vision with the macula after everybody gave up on them, because the medical profession really doesn't know what to do with them. But basically, it's a problem of use. We have to learn to look from spot to spot, from small detail to small detail, but without straining to see. And if we learn to look from detail to detail without straining to see, we start to see better and better. But many things stop us from wanting to look. I remember that my ex-wife told me that when her parents divorced is when she became nearsighted. And I remember another woman who took one of my courses, and she said that she had a divorce and it wasn't very pleasant for her. And she saw everything fuzzy, as if she looked through a curtain. And people told her, so is it okay? I hope so. I don't know. Everybody hears me now?
You're not on mute.
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you now. Yeah.
Did you not hear me for a while?
Just for one moment. I think you noticed. Yeah, all good.
Oh, good. All right, I want to repeat the thing. Okay, can you stay in the room nearby? Thank
Con
you.
una dilatada experiencia, la multinacional española asumió su presidencia en abril.
Okay. What I want to say is that the most blinding conditions in the world right now is called macular degeneration. I think many of you heard about it. And what happens is people stop looking. So I'll give you a couple examples. I talked about my ex-wife that she started to get glasses when her parents divorced. Even my own kids, when I had the divorce, it's interesting. My daughter took it very nicely at first. She told me to get a good lawyer. She was 11. It was amazing. And then when she learned that not only her mom left me, but even I am starting to settle with that divorce, she got high eye pressure. Now, she was born with cataracts. The cataract was removed. And it's not like no one gets high pressure, but it exactly happened in that time. Once her teacher talked about her as the most stupid person in the class, and she's very competitive and she actually succeeds a lot. And she said, okay, her pressure went up and up and up until I gave up and asked from the doctor to give her drops, but she stopped taking the drops within a week. The year after that, she sang in a show, The Sounds of Music. I had to close her door because she yodeled big time, and I took her to 2 voice lessons per week. And her pressure went down dramatically. And until today, she doesn't have any loss to glaucoma, which is very, very interesting. There's a woman that came to my classes, and she divorced, and she saw everything through a curtain. And people told her, get your glasses. And she decided not to. Within 2 months, when she relaxed, her vision was good. And even now, in her late 70s, she reads the menu to many of her 40-year-old friends. So what I want to say is that how we behave with our eyes is very important. Mentally, we're oblivion to many things that we see. As I said, often we don't pay attention to the periphery, but also often we don't pay attention to all details. And when you go to a supermarket and you don't look at everything, you just want to get your can of tomatoes or corn, you stop looking at details. That doesn't happen to people in the jungle. So people in the Amazon, the vision is so good that normal vision in our case, like 20/20, is considered to be legally blind, basically, because they see things we cannot see, basically. So we have to start and look at detail, and here is the catch without straining to see them. The more we look at details without straining to see them, the better it is. My lens looks like a glass that was stepped on after 5 surgeries, destruction of the lenses, and aberration of my pupils. I shouldn't be able to see even the 1% I used to see when I was a child. But today I see close to 70%, and I can drive without any problem. So what I want to say is that vision can get better, and we have several things that we need to do. Number one, we need to rest the eyes. So I started the session by asking you to look at the distance, if you remember. Now I want to continue the session by asking you to rest your eyes. And here is how you rest the eyes. Go wash your hands. I'm going to go and wash my own hands, and I'll be back in a split. But go and wash your hands for the exercise we'll do. But I have what's called a palming stick, where I sit and I put my hands around the eye orbits. You should put some pillows on a table, and I will guide you through a palming meditation, because the eyes take so much strain that causes so many problems in our life. Now we need to learn to rest the eyes. And that's the beginning of improving them. Again, looking at a distance, looking at details, paying attention to the periphery, and relaxing the eyes become very important. So let's go wash our hands. All right. I need you to, okay, I need to talk. Is there anything to admit here?
No, you're fine.
All right, everybody, rub your hands. Also, interlace your fingers and move your arms in rotating motion to loosen up your arms, loosen up your shoulders. Point the hands outwards then and move the arms in rotating motion. And now rub your hands. Okay, they have to see me.
They see.
Rub your hands. And then put your hands ever so gently around the eye orbits. In a way, I wish I was with every one of you in your place and show you how gently you have to put. Now, the head should never go down. The head should never come up. The minimum of this exercise is about 6 minutes. Alexa, give us 6 minutes.
6 minutes, starting now.
And so you breathe deeply and slowly. Again, remember, never put pressure on the cheekbones. Never. Don't bring your head back. Don't bring your head forwards. Breathe in and out through your nose. Now, the color that I love the most is the blue color. And we can see blue for a split. But I want you to see black, because black erases all color and light. And because we are right now on the screen, and some people want to look at me, and I prefer you did the exercise rather than look at me, we have light here. But I often sit in a dark room and do this palming. If you need to put pressure, put it on your elbows. Do not put it on your cheekbones. And breathe easily. Your inhalation is slow, but the exhalation is even slower. So let's say you can count 6 when you inhale and 8 or 9 when you exhale, and maybe rest for 1 before, but make your inhalation real slow and the exhalation even slower. So even after you finish exhaling, wait at least for the count of 1, if not 2, before you inhale again. And you visualize you see blackness. You visualize your eyes are soft. They really need this rest after looking for a couple of hours at the screen. You can visualize even the whole room that you sit in is black and dark. And by the way, the best way to do it is by listening to nice music. Now, I don't know how many of you can hear music. You can ask from your phone or your Alexa or your record player to sing. So again, I will ask Alexa, but I'm not sure you're going to hear it. Alexa, play Bésame Mucho was Andrea Bocelli.
All right. Bésame Mucho by Andrea Bocelli from Spotify.
Alexa, level 9. Bésame mucho, como si fuera esta noche la última. Bésame, bésame mucho.
Recording in progress. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. While palming, visualize that your head goes up to the sky, each shoulder moves to another part of the world, your back is becoming longer and wider. And take your hands off. Another real good thing that we could do is massage around the eyes, put pressure on the bridge of the nose, and massage the eyes to the temple, put pressure on the nose, and massage the eyes backwards. It's an important thing for me to tell you. We don't have to wait for the other world to feel that we're in heaven. We can decide to be in heaven now. Anytime we climb a mountain and look at the distance, that's the heaven we need. Anytime that we have good digestion, we can acknowledge it, love it, and feel that now we're in heaven. Anytime that something good happens to us, we should acknowledge it. So much negativity happens in the world, so much pessimism. You could be happy in the middle of a raging war. You know, I went to Israel and United canceled its flight back. I had to take the Israeli airline El Al. The first thing that happens is sirens in the airport. Then I taught my classes. First thing we did, sirens, we had to go to a shelter. Well, I kept teaching my classes in shelter. And it went on and on until the ceasefire was Lebanon. The point is, you have to decide that you live the moment now and in a good way. So a few things you need to do. First of all, understand your stressors. You have several enemies in life which are invisible to most people. For example, your chair. Sitting on the chair could be stressful for your back. Guess what happens to your relationship when you become tight and stressed? So let's first of all of us imagine that I head goes up to the sky.
Meir, I just want to let you know that we are quite a bit over time right now. I'm trying to message you, but I know you're really in it.
3 more minutes?
You have like 1 more minute.
Okay.
Next person can't say anything later.
Fine.
Yeah.
So if I have 1 more minute, all of you stand up and walk forwards and backwards. Relax from the computer, forwards and backwards. I want you to not sit for too long and walk forwards and backwards. I did not know I was over time because it's not yet 12:30 here. So that's fine. So thank you for having me in the conference. And I love you all. And thank you for coming to my lecture. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you so much, Meir. Thank you for that perception and those activities and guidance. Really appreciate it. Feels nice to get in the body and relax the eyes as well after all the screen time. So thank you.